What's up, y'all? It's LaContier, and today I want to talk about the topic of self-love. For everybody who's joining me today, I just really want to discuss some things that I learned about self-love. And I tell you, one of the biggest discoveries recently that I learned is that when it comes to self-love, it doesn't always feel good, especially if you're not used to loving yourself. If it's a new concept for you, then when you try to figure out how to love yourself, that process can be painful. It can be uncomfortable. There can be things that you do that you didn't do before, but now you have to do them now because you're exhibiting a different type of care and love for yourself. And really, to start it off, I've been on this self-love journey really for a couple years, but it isn't until recently that I've really begun to do the work. And when I say do the work, I mean really defining and looking at what love means to me, removing people out of my life that don't align with where I'm at, and creating and enforcing boundaries, spending time with myself to get to know myself, being intentional about getting to know myself, journaling. Those are some of the things that I've done, or I'm continuing to do as I walk in this journey. And so recently, there was a situation where I had to remove someone from my life. While I enjoyed this person being in my life, the more I began to grow and get to know myself, the more I was like, wait, this isn't working for me. I'm not happy. And so when I had to make the decision to remove that person, it was painful. I did the decision out of self-love, but I guess in my head I thought that when you love yourself, you just feel all of these emotions, this intensity of, yay, I love myself. But I discovered that it's not always like that. Another thing that I've begun to realize is, when you are trying to learn how to love yourself, you have to spend that quality alone time with yourself. I think there are people that are afraid of that because when you think about being alone with yourself, you get this concept or idea of loneliness. But truly, if you love the person that you're spending time with, are you really lonely? And so I feel as though when you begin to grow and love yourself, you're not lonely when you spend that time by yourself. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. And in my alone time, I am really beginning to love it more and more because I get to journal, I ask myself questions, I meditate, I think, I reflect. And as I do it, I just feel more connected to myself. I have a deeper sense of self. I really do. I feel more connected. Another thing, a growing pain area for me with self-love, and those who are on the journey may feel this as well, is this idea of being compassionate towards yourself. I believe that when you don't naturally have love for yourself, it is really easy to critique yourself or be really hard on yourself a lot of times. And one of the things that I'm discovering about self-love is that you are compassionate towards those things that you love. If you have a child, or if you have a elderly parent, or someone in your life that you have to maybe care for, when that person makes a mistake or does something wrong or does something silly, because you love them, you show compassion towards them. You're patient with them. You're understanding. And even you can be this way with your friends too. Your friend makes a mistake or something like that. They come to you and vent, and you tell your friend, hey, it's going to be okay. We all make mistakes. And it's funny that when you don't love yourself, that a lot of times you don't give yourself that same compassion that you give to other people in your life. So that's one of the things that I'm learning to do in my life. If I make a mistake, or if I'm trying to learn something or do something different and it's taking time and I'm getting frustrated, I try to be mindful and say to myself, hey, it's going to be okay. You'll get it. And like I said, with this journey of self-love, if you're not used to doing those things, they can seem like really difficult and hard to implement. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I feel like this idea of self-love has become so popular that people are kind of vague when it comes to the idea of loving yourself. It's kind of like, oh, take a nice bubble bath, or buy yourself something expensive, or take yourself out on a date. And all of those things are great, but at the end of the day, to really love yourself, you have to get to know yourself. And getting to know yourself means being intentional about spending quality time with yourself and defining what love means to you. That is something that's been very major for me. I've had to sit down and really write and think about that. What does love mean to me? And as I define what it means to me, then I take those qualities that I thought of, and I try to find ways to implement those things in my life. Everybody's self-love journey is going to be different. You know, for you, feeling love might be, and I'm just making something up, like having nice expensive gifts. But for me, that might not be what self-love is for me. For me, love might represent feeling appreciated and valued. And because my journey is different, and you know, I'm an individual, I have to find things in my life that represent those qualities that I'm seeking when I'm looking for love. And so what I want to encourage everyone to do is, when you practice self-love, don't just try to do the easy things or the things that feel fun. You really have to dig deep inside of yourself. Sometimes you may have to sit with yourself in silence, you know, and just meditate. But it will be worth it, because once you begin to do those things, you will be able to build a more intimate and intentional space with yourself. And I really do think that that's where self-love can really grow. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, please hit subscribe, like the video, share with your friends, share with your family. I will be touching more on topics like this in the future. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. I love you all, and I wish you the best blessings and peace in your life.